We are all existing. We are all becoming. And if nothing else, we are proof. Living proof.
Hello, mate.
How you doing?
Yeah, very well. How are you?
Good. Feeling relaxed today now.
Yeah, I bet. It's been a beautiful weekend, really, hasn't it?
Yeah, it has. It's just tied in with the weather as well. So
Yeah, nothing like a bit of sunshine and some cold water in a standstill pool. So thanks very much for agreeing to come on Living Proof. I haven't really given you much of an insight as to what's going to happen, what we're going to talk about, but
no, I kind of didn't want to know.
yeah,
I thought leave it till we're here.
yeah, that's a good thing. I had actually, like, when I'd started the concept of this, I thought, well, maybe it'd be a nice thing to go for like a 2-hour walk beforehand, like. But because we know each other already and we've had like a couple of days of like talking, and it was like, well, actually, we probably don't need to go for a 2-hour walk and have a discussion about what we're going to do. So to give you a little bit of a understanding, Living Proof is what I'd like to do is talk to you about your life. So talk to you about all the facets of your childhood, how you found that throughout your life, like what your family life was like, and then coming up into today, basically, and to what drives you, what motivates you, what you've done in the last sort of few years, and all that stuff. So if you're up for it, we can...
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
All right, cool. So where were you born, Paul?
Harrow on the Hill,
Harrow on the Hill.
London, yeah.
All right, okay.
Yeah, so my parents were living there at the time, born there, moved to Hayling Island when I was about 3 years old. My dad's mother lived on Hayling. His father had died, so they wanted to move closer, and also kind of thought that Hayling Island was probably a nicer place to bring up kids. Got a brother as well, so...
Yeah. And your brother's 3 years younger?
About 2.5 years younger, yeah.
So he'd just come into the world and...
Yeah.
Right, do you remember that move?
No.
No?
Nothing about it.
Yeah.
No.
It's so strange, isn't it? Because obviously I've got a 3-year-old and you like see him and he's like cognizant and talking, but I don't remember anything from that age either.
No, this is the thing, trying to think of what's your earliest memories. Like, I don't know some of these things. Are they memories or is it what you've been told? And I'm remembering being told about a memory.
Right,
you know
okay. So what's the earliest memory you were told?
Yeah, I don't. Well, this is it. I remember nothing about London, but Hayling, there's bits that I remember, but then I can't really put it into context of what age I was.
How long were you in Hayling Island for then?
So I got there when I was about 3, and then I didn't move out. I didn't get my own place till I was about, I think it was 24.
So you were there that whole time? On
Same
Hayling
house,
Island?
yeah.
And where is Hayling Island? Because I'm just...
It's if you drive down to the coast. So I mean, we're in Waterville at the moment. So if you come down the A3M, you got just over to the right hand side of it. You got Portsmouth. Hayling Island's just to the left of that. So there's only one bridge on and off.
Right. Okay. So is it like just on the way to the Isle of Wight? Would you go from Hayling Island to the Isle of Wight?
You can't. No.
Okay.
I mean, you go to Portsmouth to the Isle of Wight, but it's next to that. There's a tiny little ferry where you can go from Hayling to Portsmouth, but it's like you can get a few push bikes and some people on it, but that's about it. It's not a big ferry.
Right, okay. So you actually spent quite a lot of your formative years on Hayling Island then?
Yeah.
If you were there until you were 23, did you say?
Yeah, I moved out at 24, but the first house I got was on Hayling.
Oh,
that
right,
was the
okay.
first place. There's 24 years old, which was literally like a 5-minute drive from my parents' place.
Nice.
So, yeah, still got the house now.
So you went to school on Hayling Island then?
Yeah, yep, school was on Hayling.
What was that like?
I didn't like it.
Didn't like school?
No, not at all. I just found it boring. Stuff was too slow. It's like you could almost a lot of the stuff we were being taught. I just think you could have done it in a lot shorter time.
Right. Yeah.
And then also a lot of it was things that I didn't think that I was going to need, like cooking, sewing, home economics, all that. It's just French, German.
Yeah.
I can remember parts of Silent Night in German, but never needed it.
The education system's such an interesting one, isn't it? It's like, it seems it's very cookie cutter mould. It's like, give everyone exactly the same thing,
Yeah.
and see how they get on with it.
Yeah, and I think for a lot of people it doesn't work. I can remember kind of leaving school and just thinking, thank God for that.
Yeah.
I hated it.
What age did you leave school?
So, because I'm birthday's in August, so I was 15, because I think we left in like, I don't know if it's June or July or something, so I would have still been 15, then 16 in August.
Yeah.
So it was 15 when I left. I think I think I got a B in something, and then the rest of it was all D's and E's and something. So it was not. I didn't even.
Do you remember what the B was in?
It was one of the sciences.
Right. Okay.
I don't know which one. I didn't even keep the certificates.
Fair.
So I have no clue now as to I don't know what the other ones were, but none of them were very good.
Yeah, I had a similar experience. 2 Bs and 7 Cs or something like that. You know, it was like, I tried, but I found it difficult. It was just like...
Yeah, I don't know if I found it difficult, or if I just... it's just boring.
Yeah. Well,
It's like, if you got kids and you want them to read a book, Twelfth Night, it's not interesting, is it? It just... There must be other stuff that you could read that would be more... that would engage you more than that. I hated it.
I always found that like absolutely just such a quandary to my mind when you'd sit in English class and you'd have to read, say, 12th Night, and they'd be like, so what is he trying to say between the lines? And you're like, why are we trying to dissect what this person's trying to say between the lines when there's the actual lines of what he's saying? It's like, and when they're like correlating stuff to like, well, he was born in this era, so this was going on, so there was obviously a lot of fascism and And it's like, and all of a sudden he comes up with this book, so you can see the like echoes of that. And at the time, like, I get it more now, but at the time I was just like, I just did not get it.
Honestly, I don't. I really don't. And I don't. I know we read the book and studied it, and I think we watched the movie, whatever it was. We had to watch it on telly as well. I still couldn't tell you what it's about.
Right. Okay.
I have no idea. So yeah, it
didn't stick.
No, and kind of looking back, you think it probably would have made more sense to try harder because you're there anyway.
Yeah.
But I wasn't enjoying it, so it was kind of not. I just didn't place much importance on it. Really,
it's hard to do something that you're not enjoying, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
So obviously you go to school. Outside of that, what were your interests?
I mean, as soon as I was old enough to get a paper round, I did have. So at 13, I used to have a paper round in the morning before school, and then I had one in the evening, and I also had a Saturday job. So a lot of it was just earning money, and I like to be busy.
Yeah.
I had quite a lot of mates, so I used to go out on our bikes and stuff all the time, but I didn't have any hobbies as such, I don't think.
What were you doing out on your bikes, though? Just hanging around?
Yeah, really.
Causing trouble?
Yeah, but I was never really that. I was not like that.
Right, okay.
So I didn't really... I mean, if you speak to my mum... Well, mum's got Alzheimer's now, so she won't remember that. But, I mean, it's... I was pretty well behaved, really, so never really got into much trouble.
Really?
So, no. No, you seem surprised.
Yeah, I do feel a bit surprised. Yeah. It was only, I suppose, like, when you hear people's stories, you kind of correlate your own experiences, right? And I remember going out on bikes and stuff, and I just always remember just being a little bit like, well, what else can we do? You know? Like teenagers out on bikes, and you're like just trying to explore and see where the boundaries are, Yeah.
I mean, the problem is, because I don't think back to it very much, it's almost like it's in there, but I can't remember what we used to do. But I mean, we weren't like drinking, smoking, that kind of thing. I was just never really into that until it's probably about not smoking, but about 17 we used to go out, and go to pubs and stuff. But I mean, before that, I was out with my mates. I don't know what we did, but we didn't get in any trouble, so it wasn't too bad.
Do you still know any of them?
There was a friend of mine used to live next door because he was slightly older than me, and he lived next door for years, David Cooper. We're still in touch. I've seen him. I saw him last year. We had a bite to eat, but apart from that, there's one other friend that I used to go to school with that I speak to now and again. That is about it.
So if I was to ask David Cooper, like, what was the thing that he remembers the most about you from those times, what do you think he'd say?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, we used to hang around a lot, and obviously being next door was convenient for that.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I know in the summer, like we go down the beach, we go swimming, stuff like that. But yeah, I don't really know what else we got up to. I mean, it was years we were mates, so
Yeah,
we must
yeah.
have done quite a bit together.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
So what got you? Because obviously you're quite a fit man, right? So was that something that had happened during that period of time? Were you like, you mentioned you went swimming and you're out on your bike a lot. Was that like an ambition to kind of stay fitter, or was that just because it was enjoyable?
No, it's just because it was enjoyable. I think, when I was younger, I was probably quite skinny, so I used to, had some weights at home, and I used to enjoy doing that. I wasn't sort of serious about it or anything, but I used to enjoy sort of the training aspect of it. So it was just basic stuff, though, like dumbbells and a cheap like Weeder bench or something like that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I didn't really start training in a gym probably till I was like 17 or something.
Right. Okay. So you were still at home,
Yeah.
and that's when you started the dedication of.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't that sort of serious to start. It's not. I wouldn't say it's serious now. It's just something that I enjoy doing. I like the routine of it, you know.
Yeah.
But I think when you go to a gym, it's just you've got more equipment and stuff, and you're limited in a way to what you can do with a cheap bench and dumbbells and stuff at home, you know.
Yeah.
So the gym thing was good, and it was, if you've got a training partner, that's quite enjoyable because you've agreed a time that you're going to go.
Yeah.
So you tend to not want to let the other person down. So.
And was that David? Was he your training partner?
No, there was. I've had a few over the years, and then there's a guy called Paul Fogg who now lives out in Spain, and I trained with him for about 25 years.
Oh wow!
And it was we weren't friends at the time. It's just I used to go to the gym and he was there.
Yeah.
And then we were there at roughly the same time, so it was like we'd have a few sessions together, and then we kind of started training together. So still in touch with him now. He lives out in Spain.
And this is the chap you're going to go see, isn't it?
Yeah. He's going out in June, so he's older than me, so he turned 70 in February.
Right, okay.
He used to come back to England now and again because his mum lived over here. His mum died, so he's kind of got no reason to come back. So it's, yes, I mean, it's an excuse to go to Spain as well, but it'd be nice kind of to catch up because I haven't seen him for a couple of years now.
Yeah.
And when I have seen him, he's been over here for a few days. We've had a bite to eat and he's gone back, you know. Mm-hmm. So it'd be nice to spend a bit of time with him.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Yeah.
So taking a sort of step back, in your home life, you mentioned the other day that your dad, what was your dad doing?
He was a building society manager.
Yeah.
Leeds Permanent Building Society.
And that was since you were a little boy?
Yeah. So he had a job in London, and then he wanted to move back to be closer to his mum. And then there was a branch that was opening in Havant, which is just as you come off of Hayling, kind of Havant's there. So
yeah.
It's only, it's quite a short journey from where his mum lives. So he got they're opening a new branch, and they offered him like the job as manager there. So he took that, and that's when we moved down.
Was it during that move as well that your mum left work then to concentrate on raising the kids?
My mum's Dutch, so she was working for Lamport's department store. I mean, she could speak English, but it was like not. I mean, even now she's got an accent still. Mm-hmm. But so she just worked on the perfume counter. But she managed to, over a period of time, she worked up to like group buyer for a number of stores for them. So I think at the time, my dad had a good job in the city, but my mum was earning more money than my dad. But then when she was pregnant, and she wanted to, to bring kids up rather than work.
Yeah.
So that was probably about that time. I think that all, they moved down. She stopped work, and she must have stopped work before that, I guess.
So when you were growing up, did your parents have a bit of money? Did you have a bit of freedom, or was that what sort of gave you the impetus to want to go out and earn money yourself?
Yeah, I mean, we had a nice house, and we had a few holidays and stuff like that. So just middle class, we had a good lifestyle, nice upbringing and stuff. But I mean, they were never extravagant with money, and so I don't know with me. I just think I'd always had this work ethic thing, and it was, I never really had any hobbies. So I used to just like work and then earning some money, So that was, yeah, I don't know. I mean, both my parents are quite, were quite driven, as in work, with work. So they were particularly my mum was, even now, she's always on the go. Everything's done at 100 mile an hour, and so I think it was, just that drive to kind of. At the time, it was just about earning money, really. I think.
Yeah.
That was the kind of drive behind it.
Was it for freedom? Was it for like?
Yeah, I don't know.
Because to buy your own house at 24 years old.
I mean, I had help from my parents with like a deposit and stuff, which I paid back. So it's like nothing's been given. Do you know what I mean? But it was, a few times I've borrowed money from them, always paid them back, faster than agreed, because you kind of think, well, one thing is your parents, but the other thing is I might want to do it again.
Yeah.
So it helped just to have a lump sum to be able to do something with, because it's difficult to get a lump sum in one go. So, but I mean, back then for a deposit on a house, I know the first house was like 55.5 grand. I think the deposit was like 5 grand or something, So it was pretty. It wasn't so difficult as it is now.
Yeah. It's certainly changed a bit, isn't it?
Yeah.
So you developed this work ethic, and you mentioned like this is a couple of times we've talked about this, in the sense that you got a paper round, and then where did it go from there? So you just went on to.
Well, I was doing that. So we had, I think in the morning round, I think there was about like 20 rounds, so there's 20 paper boys. So it got to the stage while I was still at school that I was actually opening the shop and running it all. So I wasn't doing a round anymore. I was actually opening the shop, getting all the stuff ready, making sure everyone came in, turned up, and everything was done. So I was doing that while I was still at school. And then I was doing the same in the evening again. And then when I left school, I was then working full time. They had a number of shops. I was kind of like not managing them, but I was overseeing stuff and doing a little bit of various things. I mean, that went on for a few years and then just kind of fizzled out, really, because there wasn't really any future in it, So it kind of that stopped. And then I think for a little bit, I kind of didn't know what I was doing, so I did a bit of door work.
Yeah.
Which was.
And this was 19 when you started door work.
But 19, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which was funny because, like I say, on a Friday night, it was over 25s and I was working, I was 19, So.
Having to ID these guys.
Yeah. But that's an eye opener, because it was a good experience. I mean, I did that. I think I stopped doing that when I was about 20, 25, 26, and you get to the point where you kind of look at it and think it was good fun, and for a while it was like the same bunch of guys that you're working with. So like it's just going out with your mates. It's
community, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's like,
but you kind of think, I don't want to be doing this in another 10 years, because it's not. There's no real money in that. Not for where I was working anyway. If you're in the middle of London, maybe. But yeah, so it was towards the end of that I'd started selling supplements, small supplements. So I kind of that was going all right, and I kind of thought that doing the door work was almost. I was losing some of the day because I wasn't getting up early. So I kind of thought I really need to try and make something of that. Which made more sense if I knocked the door work on the head, really. Yeah,
and that was when you started at 19. Were you actively in the gym at that point? Were you quite big?
Yeah.
And so, because you'd started training, you said about 17, right?
Yeah.
So you were like really dedicated, putting in the time.
Yeah.
How often would you train?
4 or 5 days a week normally.
Right. Okay. So it's always been 4 or 5 days. Yeah. You still do that now, don't you?
Yeah. I mean, now 4 days, 4 evenings with weights, and then five mornings with cardio. I didn't do much cardio back then.
Yeah.
But then I kind of think I didn't really have to because I was quite lean naturally, and you don't worry about fitness so much when you're younger. Whereas I think as you get older, you realise that that part of it still is pretty important as well.
Yeah, it is. But so you're 19, you're training 4 days a week. Have you optimised your time at that time? Because I know we've spoken, and we'll get into this later, but we've spoken about how you've optimised your workout routine now. Or were you was it a social affair where you'd sort of turn up with your mate who now lives in Spain, and was it Jack?
Paul. Another Paul. Yeah.
Another Paul, right. And had you optimised it, or was it not really something you were thinking about?
I mean, it was a bit more social, I guess, because training with someone else. And the place where we trained, they had a bar there as well, which is a strange one, really, because we had a few people that come in that were like alcoholics and just drink and never go to the gym. And then
love that.
Yeah, it was yeah, it was an interesting place.
Makes you feel good just by going and having a beer. It's like, oh, well, someone's sweating.
But yeah, it was a little bit social, but I still think it was the training was always there was always a proper routine, and it was always quite difficult. So it's like, how much can we like force into this time? Do you know what I mean? So it was always kind of almost trying to optimize it to get the best results. Yeah, definitely. But I think also back then, kind of being younger, it's you end up a little bit more competitive. So I've had a few injuries from just doing stupid things, from lifting like way too much weight, and you kind of learn as you get older that it's not always. I'm not that. I'm not that strong, as in I couldn't be like a power lifter or a weightlifter. Mm-hmm. And I kind of realise, I've had 2 hernias, I've pulled something in my calf, I've had a few things that the bicep tendon tore. I've had a few things that have gone wrong, and you kind of looking back think, if I wouldn't train like that now.
Yeah. It's almost like it's like your blood gets up, doesn't it? And you're like, I can do anything.
Well, yeah, and whatever he did, I would try and do more reps.
Yeah.
And then I would take the piss out of him for not doing as much. So it was just a little bit of typical blokey stuff, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's like everything was a competition, but yeah. So I had two. So I had a bit of time off because I had a hernia which needed operating on, and then recovered from that. And about 12 months later, I had another one. So both sides, like in the groin.
And how old were you here?
The early 20s. Yeah. I mean, and
there's a lot to go through to have a hernia.
And it wasn't keyhole surgery then either. It was like proper
slice and poke.
Yeah. So the recovery from that was slow. Really slow. So that was.
And how did you deal with that? Because obviously that was a huge part of your life, and all of a sudden now you're not like.
Yeah, it was horrible. And
sit down and take it easy.
Yeah, it was difficult, and I could even remember when going back training, you just think this feels really hard. And I didn't really enjoy it. It was just not the same. So it took a long time to kind of gradually get back to training again, and then if I just got kind of back into it, and then probably 6 months later, I thought I got a twinge in the other side now. Yeah, and exactly the same. So then I had to go and have that done as well.
So did you lose a lot of mass over that period of time then?
Yeah. So I've got quite a fast metabolism, so it's not. I didn't get fat. I just lost muscle.
How did you handle it?
It was just one of those things. There's nothing I could do, and you can't. I think particularly with not having it done keyhole, the way they did it is like they really do. They butcher you, so it's like you can't move afterwards. Just trying to go to the toilet or sneeze or anything like that, you can't push. It was really bad. So it was just a case of. I knew I had to get back into it, but it was harder than I thought it was going to be to get back into it, because it just everything felt really difficult. And you can't lift any weight, and I knew I had to start like light and slow, but even then, like the next day you can't move. It's it was, that's another reason why I'm a bit more careful now, because
you don't want to get to the point where you have to start again.
No.
Yeah.
And
it's an
it'll be
uphill
harder,
challenge, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's like everyone always says, like, oh, you got muscle memory, it'll come back pretty quick. And while it does, like the muscles grow back pretty quickly because they've been that size before, it still doesn't make it any easier, does it?
No, it doesn't. And I think if you enjoy training and, you're used to having that routine, and then all of a sudden you can't, it's, and I think a lot of people who are really into training have got quite addictive personalities. So what you've got to be careful of is that it then doesn't go the other way, and you think, well, I can have a few drinks, and then that's the next thing that you're into,
Yeah.
So I mean, at the time where I was kind of working the door, but then couldn't work the door because of the ops, I wasn't really going out drinking anyway, so it wasn't the thing that I was doing.
So what were you doing to like keep yourself sane? Because it sounds like pretty miserable, to be honest. It sounds like, you know, you had gym, you had working on the door, which is where your community was.
Yeah.
And now all of a sudden you're just forced to be at home.
Yeah, I mean, as soon as I could, it would be like just trying to go out and walk or just do something physical, you know. So, and the other thing, I just thought the more you move, the better you feel, kind of thing, you know. And I think just laying on your back at home, feeling sorry for yourself, it just definitely doesn't help. So, it was a case of you know, what can I do to try and speed this up a little bit?
Yeah.
But all of a sudden you can't go to the gym, you can't work. So it was, it wasn't great.
No.
But I remember probably the first week, I didn't really even get out of bed. It was so bad, I just couldn't move.
But what were you doing?
Laying in bed watching telly.
Right.
That was it for the first bit.
Yeah, I bet.
But as soon as I could kind of move, it was a case of, well, what can I do to speed this up, you know? So diet was still, I wanted to keep my diet good, and you know, and I also didn't want to get fat. So you have to be aware that if you're training 4 or 5 times a week and eating X amount of calories, and then all of a sudden you're laying on your back all the time and you eat the same amount of calories, you're going to get fat.
Yeah. And
so
you dialed it all back.
So just adjusted it a little bit, and what I could do is kind of just do something. So even if you can just go out for a walk, you know, and so.
Where does that discipline come from, though? Because you talk about it as if it's like the most natural thing in the world, and for you, I believe it absolutely is the most natural thing. Like, because you just love to train, right? Like, you love to push yourself to that point.
Yeah.
But is there any moment that sort of came to you like, no, I just want to have this discipline to maintain this? Because a lot of people struggle with that discipline, with the lack of.
Yeah, it's a funny one, because I kind of think, you know, I don't really have any hobbies. So there's not, when people say, what do you like doing? I don't know. I mean, I like eating. So I like going out eating and kind of, I like socialising with friends and stuff like that. But I've always felt better having a structure to the day. Mm-hmm. And if I train, it just makes me feel, not just physically, but mentally better. Mm. And I like the fact that it's a bit difficult.
Yeah.
You know, and then you do have to push yourself. But I don't know where it comes from. It's just kind of always been like that.
Is it not like there's no point that you remember where you saw, like, I don't know, I'm just going to pick the most obvious candidate. Like, you saw Arnold Schwarzenegger and you were like, that is kind of what I want. I want, like, to push myself like he does. Or is there just like, or was it just an organic thing where you're just like, no, I just enjoy this, and now I'm just going to keep going with it? Yeah,
I mean, you know, I'd look at someone like that and think it looks pretty, you know, it looks good, but I don't know whether, I've never really looked at anyone and thought I want to look like that.
Right, okay.
So, and even now with bodybuilders, I mean, a lot of them you think, I wouldn't really want to look like that.
Did you ever,
to the extreme,
go into any of the competitions or anything like that?
No. I used to run a show.
Right, okay.
So when I was doing the supplements, it kind of made sense to run one of the shows because we could then promote the products, you know.
Yeah.
So I ran a show in Portsmouth for, it was about 17 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
When did you start that?
I think the first one was, pretty sure it was 2002.
Okay, so how old are you at this point?
Well, I was born in 72.
Okay, so 30?
Yeah, about that.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Are we agreeing that that's maths? I'm terrible at maths, so I'm just going to go, it's 30, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it must be.
Yeah.
It must be. Yeah, it's 30. We're calling it 30. I'm calling it 30.
It's got to be about that. Yeah.
And how did you find that? What was it called?
Well, the federation was the UK BFF, the United Kingdom Bodybuilding Federation.
Uh-huh. So you were a like a franchise
so
of
you're
that?
kind of like, so they're the Fed, and there's certain rules that you have to kind of abide by. So, but there was a few different qualifiers in different areas of the country, but it made sense for me to have one. We could promote the stuff there, and we could also stop other people. So we didn't allow anyone else to do trade stands or stuff like that. So we just had our brand there. I mean, at the time, it wasn't Time for Nutrition. It was I was selling another brand, so it was promoting that. And the early shows were quite good because it was almost like you didn't really see any pros in this country. So we used to bring like a guest star over from the US. We'd fly someone in, and that was really popular. But and I think I'm trying to think how many we had for the first show. We probably only had like 35 competitors, but we had the biggest show we did was about 270 competitors.
Wow!
So it was huge. It was a big venue, Portsmouth Guildhall. So I mean, it was.
Yeah, I've been to Guildhall.
Yeah,
massive.
Big.
Yeah.
It was. I mean, it was a really good show.
How many people did you run that with? Was that like, were you the top in terms of you? It was your idea. You were running it like.
Yeah, I mean, you'd have the federation would. They would come in, they'd sign people in, and they'd run like the day, as in the show thing and the actual competition itself. But you had to run everything else. So it was my thing to all the staff and to set the stage up and make sure the lighting worked and make sure the sound worked. And it's quite involved. And if you've got 270 competitors that have been dieting for 15 weeks, and you get the lighting wrong,
you need to get hotels.
Then
and stuff.
there's an issue, because it's I can remember one year we got there in the morning and they're like, one of the major fuses was blown, and you're like, well, can't you replace it? Well, I don't know if we can. Then we don't know if we can get one. So it's like, well, what do we do then? It's like, well, we'll have to shut. And you're like.
So was that like straight on the road looking for a fuse?
They managed to sort something out. It wasn't ideal. Some of the lighting didn't work, but they managed to bring some other stuff in. But I mean, it's like, you just think, shit, we've got like 270 competitors and probably 1,000 people coming to watch the show, and we're going to say, no, it's
sorry,
you've been dieting for 15 weeks, but it's not on this week now.
Yeah, it's not.
Luckily it didn't happen, but
not going to work, is it?
No.
I imagine like going through that when people do. Did you ever have to experience that at all, or was that the closest it ever came and it never actually happened?
That was the worst one. I mean, I know one year we were just about to start, and one of the competitors wanted to go outside and hit the thing that he thought was to open the door, which was the fire alarm. And there's a certain, if the fire alarm goes off, you can't just switch it off. The fire brigade have to turn up. You have to evacuate the building.
Yeah, because it's such a big premises, right?
Yeah.
So you had now 1,000 people outside, 270 contestants outside.
Yeah, and then also it's like, well, we have to try and make who's paid for tickets and who's, it was.
Could you get them back in, or was it then?
Yeah, luckily we got them back in, but it was like you have to wait for the fire brigade to everything has to be reset.
God, that's a lot of free drinks, isn't it?
Yeah, it was. That was another stressful one. But
so you did that for 17 years.
17 years. But towards the end of it, it was like, I think the federation had brought in so many different rules, and when you're doing really well, you can you just think, yeah, it doesn't matter. You just go by, and it's their federation, and you're just a representative for them. So whether you agree with it or not, you've got to kind of toe the line. But it started to affect the numbers of people on stage, and when it affects the number of people on stage, it affects the audience. Everyone on stage brings X amount of people to come and see them.
Yeah.
And the numbers were gradually going down, and then it just got to the point where I couldn't see how we could recover from it. So, I knocked it on the head.
Do you think there was a lack of interest? Like, because this was only 5 years ago, right? If you did it for 17 years, 47.
Yeah, it's about that. I don't know if the dates are exactly right, but it's about, yeah.
So, that was... must have been COVID then, right? Was that around about?
No, it must have been a bit earlier than that. I thought 2002 was the first year, but it would be... Yeah, it was before COVID.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
My maths might have been terribly wrong then as well.
But, yeah, it just... I think the difference is also that the Federation had changed some of the rulings, and there were some people split away. There was other federations in the end, and there's a lot more shows now. And, back then you had two main feds, so you might have like a show every other week or something, whereas now there's multiple shows every weekend for different federations. So there's a lot more choice. So it kind of waters it down. And, if your mate's going to do a show and he's going to do one show, you'll go and see him. But if he's doing a show every weekend, how many times do you want to go and watch him in his pants on stage? It's not
like...
No, so so whereas, the sort of early shows, if one competitor on stage could bring 25 people to come and watch him, whereas that's not the same now.
Interesting, isn't it? Because it's like, do you think social media had any bearing on that? Because obviously when you first started, social media wasn't really a thing.
No.
So people weren't going out and being able to present themselves. So people would go and see their mate's band, for example, or they'd go and see, because you want to go and support. But now you can just kind of see it online.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like, oh, I want to see you in your pants, or I want to see you at that show. I can just watch it later.
Yeah.
And it's like, I still love you as my friend, but it's like, so do you think that that had much bearing?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it's a difficult one because it's not like you don't really watch the shows online, so to speak. But I don't know if it played that much of it. I think the problem is there was just so many shows, and it's like you're just going normally to support one person, and if you've seen him the week before, you're not going to go again. And I think that was the problem, and it kind of just watered it down a little bit.
Yeah, I suppose it's like, it's a bit different in the sense that I've never really thought about this actually. Do bodybuilders have fans as such? Like,
some of the pros do, the big pros, but I mean, it's normally it'd just be friends and family, mates from the gym, that kind of thing.
It's like boxing, right? It's like once you get to a certain level, all of a sudden, like people are coming to just witness you box. But up until that point, you've got your mates coming, buying a table, and doing all that stuff.
Yeah, similar to that, really. I mean, the pros, because we early on to see a pro in the UK, like an American pro, was quite unusual. So it was a big thing, and it made it. People did want to come just to see that. But I think there was then a show, Body Power, that used to be on every year, and they brought a lot of pros over. And then I think because of social media and YouTube and stuff, people are quite accessible.
Yeah.
And it just wasn't such a big thing anymore. And I remember one year we were supposed to have a Flyer Pro over, and it was that year with the volcano in
I remember Iceland. Wasn't it?
And there was no flights, so he couldn't come. But nobody seemed to care. And and you just think, well, we won't do that anymore then, because there was a few grand to fly someone over, put them up in a hotel, get them picked up from the airport, and stuff like that.
Did you stay in the hotel yourself? Because you bought this room by this point. It was like, might as well, right?
Well, it was, I mean, it was only one of the local ones, so we just cancelled it. But it was just the fact that we announced on the day and we said what had happened, and there was just kind of no reaction to it. It didn't seem to matter. So after that, we just didn't do that anymore.
Yeah.
And the early ones, I remember the first shows where there weren't so many competitors. You'd have like a pre-judging and an evening show. So the actual judging was done normally to say top 3 during the day, and then the evening was more of a show. So it was, if you've got say 10 people in a class, it takes a bit to judge it, and it can be a bit boring to watch. When it goes to the evening, you'd have everyone on, but they'd already judged to the top 3. So it meant the evening was more of a show. So you'd have an MC come up, you'd have a guest spot and kind of stuff like that. But then as it got bigger in numbers, you just couldn't do it like that anymore. So then it just became, the show would start at say 1 and it would just go on till 8 o'clock or something. So it's not really a show anymore. People would come in to watch, roughly what time is my mate going to be on?
A bit, yeah.
And they'd watch a bit of it.
And then they leave again.
Yeah, so I think, again, if there is a guest star on, if your mate's on at 1 and he's on at 7, you're not going to wait anyway. Yeah. So it kind of, it just changed a little bit, which it had to. But towards the end, the numbers went down, and and I think also we used to do a trade stand, and we used to sell 3, 4, 5 grand's worth of stuff. But that was before Amazon, and you do a trade stand now, you don't sell anything. So
it's almost like a shop window, isn't it?
Yeah.
People can go and look at it, and then they go, I'll buy it off your website later.
So if you're giving it away or giving samples or whatever, it's quite good, but you don't sell anything. So, it just, again, it was a lot of effort, and you kind of look at it and think, we're not really getting much out of this anymore.
Did you learn on the job for that then? Because it seems like it's a massive leap, isn't it? It's like one minute you're sort of, I'm going to say, area manager for a newsagent. The next minute you're a bouncer. Yeah. And then the next minute you're now running massive shows where there's 1,000 people coming and there's 270 contestants, and it just seems fascinating to me. Did you read any books, or did anyone train you or teach you what to do? Did you just...
I'd kind of been to shows, so I knew roughly what happened, but there wasn't that... I mean, when I say there wasn't a lot of planning, there wasn't a lot of forethought. I knew what had to be done, so tried to make sure everything was done right. I just didn't really think about it.
Did you write it down? How do you I'm just so fascinated.
I mean, looking back now, you kind of think it was quite a big thing to undertake, considering I hadn't done anything like that before. Yeah. But it was just a case of, kind of having an idea of how it works and just trying to think of any eventuality and make sure we had it covered.
Oh, it's so wild.
So luckily we didn't have any major issues.
It's just like, it fascinates me so much because I remember once, and my friend James would, if he sees this, he'll probably still be like, oh, well, that was really bad. He ran a nightclub.
Right.
And he was like, wanted to get into live music. And he asked me, because I was in a band and we'd done a couple of shows that were quite successful. We'd had like 500 people turn up and fill out the venue basically that we were playing in. And he was like, yeah. So would you be able to help me sort this out? It was absolute disaster. It was like, I genuinely, like, learning on the job, turns out I was like, I knew what had to happen. Bands had to be booked.
Yeah.
And people needed to know that they needed, like, that they could come and do this thing. But what I'd not taken into account was if someone's used to a nightclub and it's a nightclub,
Yeah.
for it to suddenly be a live music venue, but earlier than the nightclub's open.
Yeah.
So it's like now it's opening at 7 till 10 for
Yeah.
live music, but 10 p.m. onwards it's back to the nightclub. Like, we had a homeless dude come in and ask for a glass of water. And he was basically one of the only 3 people that had turned up. And we were like, we'd put out thousands of flyers. We've got
really?
really good bands and stuff. I thought, this is going to be fine. Like, what else can you do? But on reflection of that, for me, I was like, well, maybe, I didn't actually know much about how to do it. I knew one side of it. And as you said, like, you knew one side of it. But it seems that you just went into it and went, yeah, this is fine. I'm going to do this.
I mean, really, there was no guarantee it was going to work because you don't know if anyone's going to. I mean, some people like book in advance to compete, but by the time you're starting to take bookings, you've paid it, you've booked the venue and that anyway, so you're not getting out of that.
Yeah.
So there's quite a lot of expense. So there was a risk in a way because it could have just been a flop, But luckily, the first year there was only about 35 competitors, but back then that wasn't that unusual, and it was still a really good show.
And how many people would you try and get in to watch those 35?
Well, even back then we probably had like 600.
And would you, when a competitor came and said, yeah, I want to sign up for this, would you be like, all right, cool, well, you need to sell 20 tickets?
No, I mean, we'd try and get people to do it in advance to sign up, but we'd also allow them to sign up on the day. So sometimes we wouldn't have that many people sign up before. They just turn up. So even on the day, you're thinking, I don't know how many people there are going to be.
Wow.
So it was.
Did you find it stressful?
Not particularly. I didn't think it wasn't going to work.
Yeah.
So I didn't really. There is a theme here. I didn't really think that much about it. And I mean, every year you kind of learn something because something will go wrong. I mean, luckily there was nothing like major, but something would go wrong, or you could see an area that it could be improved. And then just next year, you change something slightly. So every year, it kind of, for a number of years, it got better and it got bigger, and then it just got to the point where the numbers started to go down. But it was kind of out of my control then.
Yeah.
And by that point, I didn't feel the business was like benefiting from it, and it was quite hard work and took a lot of time. So you kind of think it just got to the point where I just didn't want to do it anymore.
Yeah.
So I just stopped.
Yeah, you mentioned to me that your sort of view, and you can build on this if I get it wrong, please correct me.
Yeah.
Your view is if I'm working on something, then it's got to have a return back that is worth what your perception of your time is, right? And if that starts to degrade, it's like, well, what am I doing it for then?
Well, yeah, I mean, if it's doing the same every year but it's making good money, it's fine.
Mm-hmm.
Or if it's building, it's better. But when it starts going backwards, then I kind of lose interest in it. So, and it wasn't making money, and it was getting smaller. And you think, well, you might as well just stop now then, because I can't see how I'm going to turn this around.
Yeah.
So we did one. The last show I did was, the numbers were. It wasn't down as low as it was on the first year, but it was significantly down on the like 270 or whatever we'd done. Mm-hmm. I think we did one year at 270. And then it was down at like 150, and then it was like 120. And you think, I can't see this. And it was a big venue, so
there's a lot of cost involved as well.
Yeah, and also really, because of it changed the 120 on stage probably brought less to watch than the original 35 for the first show.
Wow.
So it just wasn't busy enough. You know, then you kind of, all that work, and you look around and think, yeah, I'm not enjoying this now.
Was there prizes for winners and stuff, or?
You get a trophy. I mean, at the time, you weren't allowed to give. One of the rules is you couldn't give anything other than a trophy.
So you couldn't give them any time for stuff or anything like that?
Oh, yeah, it was. See, the rules were funny, where it's like it can only be a trophy, and it's like, yeah, but surely it's a benefit. But then what they would say is, yeah, but if your show gives prizes and another show doesn't, then your show is more people are going to want to do your show, and it's like, well, that's not my fault, is it? You know, surely that's the idea, isn't it? And then if my show becomes even more popular, then other people are going to have to look at doing it as well, aren't they? And there's a benefit to the
main
people
business
on stage, yeah,
and a benefit to the main business, because if what you do works,
yeah,
and more people want to come to your shows, then they can make it part of the policy for other people to do it as well.
But we had, I mean, at one point we weren't allowed to give medallions, and my thing was, but so someone's dieted for 15 weeks, they've got on stage and they've got 15 of their mates here, and they don't get anything. But at least, why not give the top 3 a trophy, and then everyone gets a medallion? So at least they've got something. You know, otherwise you're walking away with nothing. It's nice to get something to show that you've actually bothered to put the work in and turned up. And you know, you could have an awesome physique, but it was just a really difficult class.
Yeah.
But at one point, you weren't allowed to do that.
So people would turn up, they'd do the show, you choose a winner, the top 3,
yeah,
and then it'd be like, well done, see you later.
So, yeah.
No certificate, no nothing.
Well, no, I mean, at one point they then said, well, you can't do trophies, but you can do certificates, and it's like, medallions. But the problem with certificates is like, it's almost like being at school, isn't it? Like getting your bronze swimming certificate or something. And then not only that, you hand someone a certificate, which is a bit of paper, and they got like fake tan on. So then it's got brown fingerprints.
You'd have to laminate it.
But most of them were just left. People left them at the venue because they didn't want them.
Yeah. What are you going to do? Put it in a frame at home? It's like,
yeah. It was, yeah.
So you started Time For while you were doing this, right?
Yeah, because I was a distributor for another company, and was one of the biggest distributors for them in the UK. That was going really well, and I had a really good relationship with the guy that owned it. He sold the company, went to a big dairy company, and then there was kind of that relationship had gone because there's no personal relationship, and the price structure went out the window because before they manufactured it, they had distributors that it went to, and the distributors then put it into trade. But then they started selling to like online discount sites, and then I can remember one Black Friday that they ran a promo on their own website, and the price that they were selling it for on Black Friday for a bag of whey protein was cheaper than I could get it for them for a pallet.
Yeah, that doesn't really work.
It doesn't make any sense. So I've got gyms saying, well, you're selling me this at 30 quid. My customers can get it online at 25. And then thinking, well, you must be getting it really cheap then. How much money are you making on it? It's like, no, I can't even get it at that. So there was quite a few things that kind of, it upset a lot of customers.
Yeah,
it kind of started cutting into my margins, because if you go to a gym and say, yeah, this retails at $47.99, and they go online and it's 35 quid, then really retails 35 quid.
Well, and also the first thing that's happened in your business relationship with this new client is you've lied to them.
Yeah.
Inadvertently, because you don't know.
Yeah.
And then immediately they're like, well, can I trust this person? That sucks.
Yeah.
So that's what made you go, well, I'm going to do this myself.
So I'd had a relationship with them for probably, I don't know, 18 years or something like that, was selling for that company. And they had a number of different directors come in. And then I'd looked into bringing out just the whey protein to start with. So I brought whey protein out in 3 flavours, just one product, 3 flavours.
And where'd you get it manufactured?
It was in the UK.
In the UK?
Yeah. Okay. And then I got a phone call from this guy who we'd never spoken to before. So it was the MD, and kind of introduced himself and said, it's come to my attention that you've got your own brand. I said, well, it's not a brand really, it's just 3 products, one product, 3 flavours, and the reason I've done it is this, because your pricing structure, I cannot make any money, I've got staff to pay and stuff. And his thing was, well, either you stop that or we don't supply you anymore. So
nice.
I was like, well, do that then. And he was like, well, I'll give you time to think about it.
No,
I was like,
I don't need any time, thanks.
No, and it's like, I'm just surprised. It's like, I've been with the company for 18 years. I spend probably nearly £750,000 a year, and I've never spoken to you before. And the first phone call is, "You're threatening me." Really, it's like I thought you would have said, "Oh, why don't you come in? Why don't we sit down and see if we can sort this out? Is there anything we can do to make this work?"
Yeah.
So. But yeah, he gave me a week to think about it, phoned up, and I was like, "No, I'm fine. I'll just, do my own thing." So they cut me off completely.
So
overnight, I went from having a full range of products to one product in 3 flavours. That was it.
And how long did you have that for?
Well, we quickly brought out some other stuff. We had some easy wins because stuff like, creatine, gluten, if it's one ingredient products with no flavour, you can turn that around quite quickly. You just have to have your label designed and stuff and, get a decent supply.
All manufactured in the UK at the time?
Yeah. But it took some of the other products took a long time. So it took a while to get to a position where we're actually making money. I mean, luckily for me, I had a lot of stock. I had a lot of money owed in. We owed no money out. Mm-hmm. We had a unit that I paid off, so we had no overheads were low, so we could kind of almost run at a loss for a little bit when I'd sorted it out.
Yeah.
So it took a while. It was pretty stressful at the time. Because,
again, learning on the job though, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was like,
yeah,
you've bought all this time, and now all of a sudden you're like talking to manufacturers and
part of it was was that I needed to earn money anyway, but I wasn't in a bad financial situation. But part of it was thinking, "Oh, fuck you! I'm going to make this work now." Do you know what I mean? Because it was like just the fact that they just thought, "Yeah, we'll just cut you off." And
it's like it's not an insubstantial amount of money that you're turning over for them, and for them to like not even bother. Why don't we have a meeting?
But what they didn't realise is, at the time, I was quite hands-on with it. So I was in the business every day talking to people. So a lot of the relationship with the customers was with me, not with what I was selling.
Yeah.
So when I came out with something else, it was like, yeah, it's fine, we'll just buy that. So we managed to switch. The majority of customers just switched over.
Right.
So it wasn't easy, and it took a long time to do it. But yeah, it was hard work.
What was the biggest challenge you faced after you'd made the switch, and so now you're talking to manufacturers, you're in the UK?
Well, because I'd never done any of that before.
Yeah.
It's quite, and it's not as easy as it seems, and then just to get the pricing right, to get the ingredients right.
Who was doing the ingredients, or was that all in the manufacturer?
No, I had a friend that I'd worked with, a guy called Brian Batchelor, and he actually did a bit of work for the company that I was originally distributing for. Mm-hmm. So he helped with formulating. But then you've got to source the ingredients. You have to find someone that can do it. You have to get a designer to design your bags. What's the style of it going to be? There's a lot involved.
It's a lot involved, isn't it?
Yeah, and everything takes longer than you think it's going to.
Oh yeah, everything.
So that was it was difficult. I mean, I quite enjoyed it at the time but I think it's the case of probably enjoyed the building of it.
Yeah.
You think of a product, you have to do all the bits involved in it, and then you make it work, and and it sells.
So you had one product, 3 flavours, and now you're on your way out of Time For. How many have you got? How many did you end up with? What was the maximum?
Well, but what happened is we got a good range, and then COVID hit. And at the time, we were probably, 85% of the business, I think, was direct to trade. So then all of a sudden, overnight, all the gyms are shut. So 85% of the business is gone. So in that time, did a lot of work on our website and Amazon. So we managed to build the direct to customer sales up quite significantly. Came out of COVID, and then we had a massive rebound. Had some of the best months we'd ever had. And then our main manufacturer went bust. So again, all of a sudden, none of these products, we'd have to find different manufacturers. And
so you had stock on hand, but you had no.
We had what we had in stock, but then we couldn't get anything else.
And was that it was the same manufacturer, the one in the UK? Did you never go out to the east? And
no, now we were getting some. There's a couple of things we were getting done in Hungary.
Okay.
But everything else was UK. Yeah.
That must have been like quite hard from a cost perspective to then try and compete with all, because like it's quite a big market, isn't it now? Like,
Yeah.
and it's like really boomed.
Yeah, so we had to sort of reformulate, because I kind of thought if we're going to have to go somewhere else, we couldn't even get the flavours and stuff that we were getting before. So we just thought, let's bring something else out. So we particularly on the whey, we did a lot of work on that formula, and we made what I thought was a much better product. We'd made loads of changes to it. There was some good science behind it. We looked into the like fast and slow proteins and the ratios, and there's like an enormous amount of work's gone into it. The price had to go up and the size had to come down slightly, but you're kind of, I think now with supplements, it's almost like it's more about the label and the flavour than it is about anything else. So you've got a lot of companies that make whey protein, and they'll, we were using like grass-fed, undenatured whey protein and mycelic casein, which is like a time release thing. And, we'd spent a lot of time looking into all this. And, with whey protein, you're kind of filtering out all the crap till you get to a point where you're at whatever percentage you're at. But what a lot of companies do now is some of the crap here, they look at the price of it and think, it needs to be cheaper. So some of the crap we filtered out, like the skim milk powder and that, we just put it back in and it brings the price down.
Make it heavier.
Yeah. So there's lots there's a lot of that goes on, which, for me, if I take a supplement, I look at the ingredients and I look at the, where do those ingredients come from? What are the levels of protein? Where's the protein coming from? But, there's a lot of people that just don't. And I think that's kind of what we're up against. And that's where I kind of fell out of love with the industry, is it would be more beneficial for me to come up with a flashy label and then bastardise the product by putting cheap ingredients in that people don't really understand, and then push that out.
But if it's not something that you want to take yourself,
No,
it's not really
I wouldn't
something you're
take it.
interested in, right?
There's plenty of stuff that I wouldn't take.
Yeah. What?
But also, what I don't understand is, like, you do all that work on your body in the gym and put all that time in, and then you buy crap supplements. It's like when I get my car serviced, I don't go, Happy Shopper oil will do.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's like I'm quite particular about that. So, even making our own supplements, there's other supplements I bought elsewhere because it's stuff that we didn't make.
Okay, so who do you trust from a supplement company perspective? Because obviously now that you're moving away from Time For as well, once you've used what you've got.
I mean, luckily someone's taken that over, and the quality will remain the same on that.
So you're still going to buy?
Yeah, and I mean, to be honest, I've kept a lot at home back off. We stocked up, so our cupboards at home are jam packed full of stuff. So I've got enough that's going to last, a good amount of time.
Have you weighed it all up? Like, cool, this is 25 years worth of my daily routine.
Yeah, I mean, I do take a lot. It's a lot of different stuff as well. But yeah, we've got a fair bit. So, the guy that's doing it's a nice guy, and he's got some morals and stuff. So that'll, I'll be confident that stays, as it is.
Yeah.
But I don't understand why people don't read the ingredients more. Do a little bit of homework,
It's just everywhere now, though, isn't it? It's like you can go on Amazon, type in whey protein, and you can get anything from like £15 for like a kilo to £60 for 500 grams, and it's like that. And I think the problem, especially with Amazon, is you can't really trust the reviews, because people, all they care about, especially with protein, is flavour.
It's quite easy to fix those reviews if you want to.
Yeah.
There's loads of people that do,
I know someone who had a job, which was he was sent products, and his job was to give it a good review.
Yeah.
Even if he didn't really like it that much, he'd sit there and he'd be like, "Oh,
yeah,
okay, I'm just going to give it," and then he'd have to send the product back, and he'd be like, "It was all right."
Yeah.
It's like, but you gave it a 4.5-star review. It's like, yeah, but it's what I get paid to do, And it's like it's so shady, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just a shame, I think, that people don't do a little bit more homework about ingredients and actually have a look at the label and what's in there and try and work out. I've seen other brands where you kind of look at the ingredients and you look at the nutrition label and think it just doesn't add up. It's impossible that ingredient is that nutrition. So, I mean, what's going on there? I don't know.
Do you think if you were to do it again, do you think you'd maybe go out to China and get everything sourced there? Because they can do it obviously a lot cheaper, and the only difference is obviously you have to pay the import, don't you?
Yeah, I mean, there's you've got to be careful with China. I think you'd have to batch test because
Yeah.
you don't really know what you're going to get otherwise. And, it's possible. Whether I'd ever do anything again in supplements, I don't know really.
It's like it's been such a big part of your life, though. Like, you're talking, like, what, since you were
Well, probably 27
27 years old?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, 25, I think, is where I really started sort of getting into it. So probably 27 years of just doing that.
Did you read a lot of books about, like, the biology and, like, the chemistry and all that kind of stuff and how it all...
Yeah, that and obviously now podcasts more, isn't it? It's a lot easier because you can do that at the same time as you're doing other things. So, if I'm doing my ice bath or sauna or driving or whatever, it's an easy thing to listen to. So I still enjoy that now, and I think as you get older, you also get more into the health side of it. So more like the biohacking side of it, as opposed to just how big can I get sort of thing.
Yeah. Have you been to any of the biohacker conferences?
Yeah, I go to the Health Optimization Summit every year in London.
Okay.
That's good.
Yeah.
I enjoy that. There's a lot of speakers on there, and you always pick something up that's really interesting. So that's on again this year. I think it's September.
What's your top tip that you've learned from there, do you reckon?
There's too many really, because there's so many different things going on. And I said to you before, I had the issue with atrial fibrillation, which I've still got, and kind of you go and see the specialist, and they're like, yeah, it's just genetics, And it's like, well, what gene is it then? Do you know what I mean? It's not necessarily just genetics, just because you don't know what it is. So there's an issue, and you're kind of told that there's nothing you can do about this. And it's like, can I not do anything with diet? No. Supplements? No. But I've made some changes with stuff, and it 100% has made a difference.
Yeah.
So there is that sort of that area interests me. Some of the like the DNA tests and stuff. There is things that you can work out from that, and different blood tests. And I've always done a lot of testing. So if you're lacking in something, and then you add something to whatever it is you take, nutrients or vitamins, minerals or whatever, and then you test again, and the figures increased, how can you say it's not working?
Yeah.
And I had this thing where I had a DNA test, and I have the gene mutation on the motherfucker gene, the MTHFR, and so I then had a blood test for homocysteine, and mine came out about 30, should be around 6. One of the side effects of high homocysteine can be arrhythmia. And another long term, they reckon it's linked with Alzheimer's, and both my parents have had Alzheimer's. And if it's genetic, either or both parents must have had that as well.
But is there a way to control your homocysteine?
Yeah, you just take methylated B vitamins.
What, and that brings your level down?
Yeah, so I'm now, the last time, I'd normally test about every 6 months, and the last one was 7, which is about...
Which is in the normal range, right?
So it's just, I take a product, I think it's called methyl complex or something, which is methylated B vitamins and some betaine.
Okay.
And that's kind of, that sorts that out. Really straightforward.
Yeah.
And they reckon that issue with that gene affects about 40% of people.
And people just don't know about this.
No. Well, when I spoke to the heart specialist, he didn't know about it.
We're on. Excellent. Well, we've now got a coffee, so
good.
All good things happen when they need to, I guess, because I was definitely feeling the need for a coffee.
Same.
So we were getting to the point around whether or not you'd go out to the east, and the fact that you'd gone to Hungary, and whether or not even you'd continue on in that space, right? Which is, I guess, the decision that you get now.
Yeah.
After, from what is quite striking to me, is so far a very successful life. But as you said, it's like you just kind of like you just go through it. You're just like rolling with the punches. Right?
I mean, the other thing that we haven't touched on is I bought the first house when I was 25, and then I kind of thought I'd try and buy some houses, just rent them out, see what happens. So I bought another house and then moved into it and kept the one on Hayling, the first one I bought, and then rented that out. and then from then on, really, every time I had enough money, I just bought another one.
Right, okay.
So I bought, I think between the ages of 25 and 30, I bought about 20 houses. Yeah, and that was just, that was my thing of if I can build like a passive income.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, a lot of what I was doing was kind of an exchange of time for money, because I think I was probably good at running a small business, but I wasn't very good at scaling it at all. Mm-hmm. So I just thought with the properties, I'd just keep buying them then. As soon as I've got some money, I'll just get, I'll put the deposit down and get another one. And that's been quite successful. That's pretty good. I mean, the only issue I've got with it is that where they're held, I own them personally, the tax is now quite high because the government changed the not being able to offset your interest against the income. And, if you buy to let, you tend to do interest-only mortgages. So
that you can offset it so that it reduces the amount of tax you have to pay.
You can't. So I have subsequently bought some in a limited company, but the problem is now is the deposits you need to buy a house is huge. So you've almost got to question, is it even worth bothering? Because it's such a long-term investment that if you've already got a few, you think, well, I'm 52 now. If this is going to start making money in 15 years, I could do, do I really need that?
Yeah. How many have you got now then?
There's 26 in residential and one commercial. And
the commercial one's the one that you were operating out of, which are now.
Yeah, so that we're gonna rent that out, and two of the residentials are in a limited company along with the commercial one, and the rest of them is personal, which is where the tax issue is.
Yeah, and it's not as if you can just directly port them, is it?
No. So you're basically getting taxed on a part of an income that you haven't actually earned because you've had to pay out an interest.
God,
there's about, I don't know, it was £65,000 of interest a year. You get like 20% tax credit against it, but so you're basically going to get taxed on money that you don't
actually have.
Yeah. So it's quite, when you look at the initial rent coming in, you'd think I'd be flying a helicopter, really not. But it's by the time you look at what's left at the end of it all.
Yeah. And obviously it was better, and now it's got worse, right? So
yeah, I mean, the good thing is where the majority of them were bought a long time ago, there's a lot of equity there, so I don't owe. None are highly geared, and also, the rents are pretty high now compared to what they used to be.
Yeah.
So there's a decent margin there,
How do you find managing? Because that's like, just trying to think how that all fits in your life. Like, obviously you've been managing these shows, you've been managing a company, and you're managing a property portfolio. Do you manage that personally? Is that something like, if someone calls you up and goes, "Oh, Paul, mate, my pipes have burst"?
Yeah, I mean, we do use agents for it.
Yeah,
and I've got, I mean, even though we use agents, we still, because I've been doing it for so long, I've kind of got contacts, and I've got one guy in particular that can do most things. So he kind of just sorts everything out.
Are they all within a certain area?
They're all pretty local.
Right. Okay.
And I mean, just to start with, again, it wasn't really that planned, because I used to go into the estate agent, and at one side was lettings and at the other side was sales. So you go to the lettings bit and go, "What do you need?" "Well, 2-bedroom in Anchorage Park." And then you go over to the sales bit and go, "Have you got any 2 bedrooms in Anchorage Park? How much can I get in rent? How much is it going to cost?" Yeah, that's
pretty like straightforward way of looking at it, really.
That's that's all I did, really. There wasn't a lot of planning went into it. I just kind of looked and thought, those figures work.
Have you got a supply issue? Yeah. Have you got demand?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what annoys me sometimes when people say, you were lucky, weren't you? And you're like, well, why didn't you do it then?
I don't think it's luck. It doesn't sound like it's luck.
No.
I think there's elements of luck within it, in the sense that it's but with anything, there's always going to be elements. There has to be some luck, Like when anyone starts a business, you have to have a bit of luck as well. But if you're doing the right things, which is like all you were doing in that instance, you say you hadn't thought it through much, but actually
there wasn't much to think through, really, because it was.
Is there a demand?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a demand. Okay, cool. I'll supply it.
And I can remember one weekend, it was like, it was at Anchorage Park, just outside of Portsmouth, and I said, how many 2-beds have you got for sale there? And I think there was like 6. And I said, can I just see all of them then? And then with the 6 of them, you just, you make an offer on all of them, and depending if someone is, how keen they are to sell. So then it just, it was pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
I mean, that doesn't work now, but there's probably other things that do work. It's finding it, isn't it?
Well, yeah, and also, as you say, it's appreciative assets, right? So you've bought appreciative assets over a long period of time, and now, although it's not as financially viable as it was, you still got all those assets, and if it ever does turn round, then great. And if it doesn't, then you can sell them or sell some of them, and at least you've got, like, you're not in negative equity. I knew a friend of mine who bought his first house when he was young, and he paid over the market for it. Then the housing market crash happened, right? And he was like 40 grand negative equity. And you're like, man, like at 20 years old, 40 grand negative.
Yeah.
Like, how'd you deal with that? And he's like, well, it stressed him out for quite a long time. Yeah. But like, very blessed in the sense that now we're in a situation in this country where property value just seems to be going up and up and up.
Yeah. And I mean, you could argue at 52 with 27 properties, well, why don't you just sell one every year, and just work out when you think you're going to die and split it up between that. But then it's almost like that you've given up. Whereas and I think where I like kind of the building part of it, I'd like to think that I can do some more.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Rather than just, no, that's it. Well, all that hard work, we'll just start selling it now on the countdown to death sort of thing. Do you know what I mean?
It's pretty morbid, isn't it?
But
It's like,
yeah. But I mean, some people you could argue that would be a good idea because there is money there, and it would. But then I'd kind of think, but I'd still like to.
Well, what would you do?
Well, this is it.
Exactly. It's like there's only so much you can go away. Yeah. It's like what would your mind be doing?
Well, no, which is the position I've kind of find myself in now, in a little bit. But then, I need to find something. I just think I'm also looking forward to having a bit of time off because for the last probably 15 years we have worked 50 weeks a year. So we've had very little time off, and just having this nice weather now, it's like before it was only any good if it was nice weather on the weekend, because during the week I wouldn't see it anyway. To have a bit of time off and enjoy just doing normal stuff is quite good. And then hopefully in that time something might pique my interest a bit.
You said to me a couple of months, by the end of the summer you go back to doing something.
What?
I'm of the opinion that you should take a year. And the reason being is because it sounds to me, and from all the conversations we've had before, from this conversation, it's been non-stop all the time. Like, what a gift that you could afford yourself to just go, well, actually, when I do stop and take a minute and take a breath, it's like, what does interest me? Where am I going? What am I doing?
This is it. And I mean, I like it now. I think what worries me is when it gets to like October time and the days are short and the weather's not very good and it's kind of dark all day. It's like,
yeah, but you don't have to be here because you've got no responsibility, right? So you could be like, oh, well, the weather's shit. I'm going to go to Dubai, or I'm going to go somewhere.
I mean, the other problem is with it is we do, because we've been working hard for very long. You kind of live to your income a little bit, and we do spend quite a lot, and it surprises me every month when a credit card bill comes in. I just think I don't know how we've spent that much money. And so that's kind of, I have to bear that in mind as well. So it's like, and it just worries me. I've got more time, but you think, well, that's probably not going to go down. It's probably going to go up. Do you know what I mean?
So you've always been self-employed, right?
Yeah, apart from obviously working the door early on.
Did you put into a pension pot?
No.
So your pension is your estate, basically,
which the pension thing for me. I never really understood the tax benefits of it, but it always seemed boring to me. And I think if you're like 25 and someone's going, if you put this in when you're 60, and I think I'm just not interested in that. But you can't at that age, can you? It's like it's the most boring conversation you can have. So I've never done.
Did you do any investments or anything like that?
No.
Never got into
it's just property, that was
cryptocurrency or
I never really understood it.
Index funds or anything like that.
I don't know what that is.
Yeah, fair.
No.
Neither do I really.
No.
So, all right. Well, I think we're up to date when it comes to work, and it comes to like the formation of your drive and aptitude and everything. I think we've come to date, right?
Yeah.
But what I'd like to do now is just come back a bit more, and I'd like to talk about relationships, because obviously now you're married.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
This year, right?
Yeah, for Easter weekend.
Easter weekend.
Yeah, we got on the Saturday, 19th.
And that's with Kelly, your wife.
Yeah.
And you've been with Kelly for
13 years.
amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. Have you lived with each other that whole time, or obviously, I don't imagine you would have, because
No, I mean we've probably been together, I don't know, say 2 years, and then she moved in.
Okay.
And that is the first female, other than my mum, that I've lived with.
Right. Okay.
So yeah. So to me, I think the moving in was a bigger commitment than the marriage. Really.
Yeah.
I think.
So that was what, you were 39? No, you must have been 41 actually. Then, something around about there.
Yeah.
So you'd been like, I guess, bacheloring for.
Yes, I mean I was single for a bit, and at the time I had a penthouse apartment in Gunwharf Quays, and I had no mortgage. I was driving a Bentley. I'd finish work on a Friday, and then I got nothing to do till Monday. Which was all right for a bit, but you kind of.
So you get yourself in trouble, that, isn't it?
Well, yeah, but this is the thing. It's good fun for a period of time, and then you think, yeah, I'm probably going to die if I keep doing this.
I wonder if Dan Bilzerian feels like that. Yeah.
So yeah, it was. Yeah, I mean, and I think all of those things is like it's good to have done it, and I think also I've got a lot out of my system.
Yeah.
And then you realise, if you do meet someone that you get on with, also the fact that out of respect to her, but I don't want to fuck it up.
Yeah.
Because I think we actually get on. We have a good relationship and we enjoy each other's company. So, I don't, and I've got all of that naughtiness and mischievousness out of my system a long time ago, which I think is a benefit. But, and I kind of, you look back at that now and think, I wouldn't want to do that now.
Yeah.
But it was just good at the time.
Yeah. Well, it's like, it's an experience that people have to go through, I think, as well. And some people push it too far. They push it for too long, and it starts to feel like I remember I used to go to raves when I was a kid, and you'd see like 65-year-old couple there, like also doing the rave thing, and you're like, I wonder how that is, man. Like, you guys, like, either there's one of two things that's happened. Either you never gave up and you're like, this is just my jam. Fair enough, cool. Or you've just got into it later in life and you're like, this is my jam and I've never experienced this before.
Or they've never been before and someone spiked their drinks.
Yeah, and all of a sudden they're like, oh, actually, no, what did you spike that with? It's pretty good. But when did you have your first girlfriend?
I was 16, I think.
And was it your first love? Do you remember her?
I remember her. I mean, I think at that age, it's not love, really, is it? I think you just think.
But it can be really enrapturing, right? Really intoxicating.
Yeah. Yeah. So that was 16. That didn't last very long, really. But I think Kelly is the only one that I properly get on with.
Right. Okay.
And I think sometimes when you're younger, you're in relationships that aren't quite right, but you just carry on anyway. I just think it's easier sometimes, and whereas, I don't know, I think you just get to the stage where, and particularly I think where I was so busy with work, I just didn't want any aggro when I got home. Mm-hmm. And you think, well, if I'm having stress at work, I definitely don't want stress when I get home. So I don't want someone that I'm going to argue with all the time. So I think it's really Kelly is the only one that we don't argue.
Has met you.
Yeah.
She's met you eye to eye and been like.
Yeah, and she's probably more forgiving, I think.
Have you spoken to her about all the past life?
Oh, yeah, definitely, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and my thing's always been I'd rather, don't, if you ask me something, I'll tell you the truth, and then it can't be an issue.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, if it's going to be easier just to not tell you. So, plus the thing is, I think I'm not going to have a midlife crisis because I've done all that stuff, you know, and I don't want to be doing it anymore. So I'm quite happy. You know, I'm in a nice situation like that, relationship wise.
Yeah, it seems really stable.
Yeah.
I mean, it seems like you guys have got a really solid relationship. I've not met Kelly, but like for everything that we've heard about her, and from even just like you showing me pictures on your phone of her like going to visit your mum and stuff, it's like it's clear that you guys have got a real adoration for each other and a real respect for each other's like lives as well. You know.
Yeah, definitely.
What was, other than Kelly then, was there any long-term relationships that you had?
Yeah, there was one that was a bit before Kelly. That was for about 10 years, but I think it was just a little bit, when I say volatile, just quite a lot of arguing, you know, and I'm just not very good at that. I just don't like it.
It's hard, isn't it?
Well, it's just tiring, you know, and pointless a lot of the time.
Yeah.
And I think that the difference is now with Kelly, she just doesn't. And it's not saying that it's the correct way to deal with things, but it's like a lot of the time she just doesn't. She just go a bit quiet and just ignore it, you know. And then after a while, I think, yeah, it's probably me in the wrong, you know. And then we just don't talk about it anymore. Do you know what I mean? Or I just say, I forgive you. You know, which normally means that she knows that that I've realised that it's my fault.
Yeah, I forgive you, don't worry. And she just, all she can hear is, I'm sorry, Kelly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, at least now that if she watches this, she'll know that that's
but
what you mean.
I think sometimes you just look at the bigger picture and think, it's just not that important, is it? You know, and sometimes if you just had a bad day and I've had lots of things that go wrong and lots of things that have tried your patience, and that was you know, and unfortunately the people that are closest to you are normally the ones that get it.
Yeah.
That, you know.
And I think that's a really good thing in symbiotic relationship, isn't it? Is like understanding when someone's stressed out about something and like actually willing to accept it, because it's not always easy. And I'm sure it can happen the other way around as well, where Kelly's had a bad day and she comes home and she's just a bit short and you're like, I'm just going to give her some space. I'm just going to, like, you know.
Yeah. She's definitely more forgiving than I am, I think. But yeah, no, I do try, you know. I'm probably getting better at it, but it just... most of it's to do with stress, because if we go on holiday for 2 weeks, we don't ever argue about anything. Not that we argue anyway, but there's never any... Like
friction
or... because there's no stress.
Yeah.
So it's just down to that. And a lot of it, I think, with me is just... It's just things that annoy you constantly during the day, different things that go wrong or people that let you down with stuff or whatever. And it's just a build-up of that. And then, you know... And that's, again, where I find the training helps.
Yeah, it's a great way to relieve stress, isn't it?
Yeah, always feel better, you know, after that.
Is that why you train in the evening then?
No, it's just worked out because we just got a nice sort of thing of doing cardio in the morning, fasting I fast till 1 now, and then I normally wait till Kelly, when we were working, Kelly finished work, and then we would train we don't train together as such, but we train at the same time. Yeah. So it's quite nice. Just, you know, put some. And we never talk when we train because we got music on quite loud and stuff. But I think just the fact that you're doing it together, it's, you know, I'm not going to not do it, and she's not going to not do it either. So you kind of just get it done, and then have a shake or something afterwards, and then we're done for the evening, or I'm done and she's got to make some food.
Yeah, well, you know, that's why they're the better half, right?
Well, yeah, exactly. And it's not that she has to, but she likes doing that, and she's, you know, if I made something to eat, she wouldn't want to eat it anyway. So
well, that's how I feel as well.
Yeah,
like, you know, when I met Kez, obviously her ex was a 5-star chef.
Yeah.
It's like I already knew. It's like, what's the point? Like, how can I? Like, what am I going to do that's going to really impress you? It's like I lived off of chicken and rice for a long time because I was like, well, it's got everything that I need in it. Chicken, rice, and vegetables. That was it. And
it's
eggs.
Just easy, isn't it?
Oh, it's just easy.
Yeah.
Like, it was just that was what I wanted. Like, I didn't need anything else for my body, so it was like, yeah, that's fine. That's what I'm having. But then moving into this house, it's like, and she cooks really well.
Yeah.
So it's like I offer occasionally. I'm like, would you like me to cook? And if she's having like a really hard day, I'll be like, well, do you want to go out for a burger? You know, but it's just not as nice. It's just not as nice when I cook, and that's okay. That's fine.
But it's the same for us, and I mean, we've never had a discussion about, right, these are your jobs and these are mine. We've just kind of fallen into she does certain things, I do other things.
Yeah.
You know, and it kind of works. And I think also, you know, because she's feminine, she likes looking after people. And you know, my mum was exactly the same. If I went round with my mates, my mum would be like, you know, before you know it, there's a tray of food come out. We haven't even asked for it. But that's kind of, that's what she was like. And Kelly's very the same, you know. And I quite like that. Yeah. You know, I like to be looked after.
There's a nurturing aspect to the feminine, isn't there?
Oh yeah, massively.
It's one of the things that I find interesting about the spiritual world. Like, obviously we've talked about the spiritual world and stuff, and there's even in society, actually, I think that there can be an over feminization of the masculine and an overtly masculine element to the feminine as well. And people are like, oh, we got to strike the balance. I'm like, but when you have one person who's more feminine, one person who's more masculine, does that take away from the way that they can connect to each other? Or is that difference actually the thing that helps them? Whereas if they're both like a bit masculine, a bit feminine, a bit masculine, a bit feminine, like, and I'm sure it's horses for courses, whatever, like everyone each to their own. But when people say like, oh, you know, you're too masculine, I always think, what is that? What is too masculine? Like, in reality, because without a bit of masculine, then we wouldn't be here where we are right now, living in this country that is, like, you know, without that.
Well, I think one just seems to complement the other.
Yeah.
You know, and I think, you know, Kelly tends to look at everything through rose-tinted glasses. And it's like, I let her do the nice, friendly, emotional side of things, and I'm better at the other side of things, you know. And I think that kind of, I don't think she'd want someone who wasn't masculine.
Well, it's balance, isn't it?
Yeah.
But
then if there's someone who does, well, good luck to them. You know,
that's the thing.
Who cares? It doesn't bother me.
It's
just what I like.
I think that's what I was trying to get to. It's just like, when other people say, oh, what you're doing, like, you're overly this or you're overly that, it's like, well, I'm sorry. Like, what do you want me to say? Like, you know.
Yeah, but you can see that sometimes when we discuss, like, you know, Kelly does the shopping and she does the cooking and all that, and some women are like, well, yeah, but why should you do all of it? Yeah, but I like doing it. It's not a thing, you know. She likes doing it and she's good at it, and I do other stuff. You know, it's just how it is.
Yeah.
My mum and dad were exactly the same, you know, and that was the thing that you kind of noticed when my dad died, that, you know, my mum had never paid any bills or anything. My dad did all that, so I had to kind of take on that role, because it was just like my mum had a credit card and she could spend what she wanted. There was never any, like, no one was in control of it, but my dad just done all the finances and stuff. So she'd never done like house insurance, car insurance, or that was just my dad's job, you know.
Yeah.
So it's similar to
getting the car MOT, doing all of that stuff.
Well, that's what I do with Kelly. I sort Kelly's car insurance, MOT. It just that's how we do it.
Yeah.
Works.
It does.
Yeah.
So you guys have got similar music taste? Or did she bring anything and introduce you to any music that you were like, wow, this changes my world?
I mean, most of the stuff she likes are on those like cheesy hits albums, you know. It's like,
no, that's what I call music.
That's what I call cheesy hits. Yeah. No, I mean, yeah, we'd like some of the same stuff, but I don't really like. I mean, she'll go and see like, what's his name? Who's one with the gingery hair?
Ed Sheeran.
Yeah. So
Right.
I'm like, I can't. I wouldn't want to. And what's the other? Adele.
Adele, yeah.
So I don't like that either. But then, really, you know, if she goes to see them, she'll go with her mum.
Yeah.
Or sister, you know, or a mum's sisters, aunties, whatever. But there's quite a lot of stuff we do together. And I think the thing is, even if it's not something she's necessarily into, but we'll stay in a nice hotel, eat in a nice restaurant. It's a day out, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, if you can, it's still enjoyable.
Well, it's still a show, isn't it? It's like you mentioned, you went to see The Fun-Loving Criminals, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, it's just like, whether or not you like it, the spectacle of that many people going to somewhere, I find it's
cool.
Like magic.
Yeah. And I still always surprises me as someone who can't play any instrument, say you can get like 3 blokes on stage, you can make that noise. I don't get it. I've had to go on some drums, you know, and it's like, I just thought, I must be able to do this. It was quite easy. And it's
really hard.
Isn't it?
Really hard.
Yeah.
Like, the independence that you have
But it's
to
anything.
have.
I could, you know, it's like I love music, but I've got no. I can't do any. It's surprising. It surprised me with he had an electric drum kit thing, and you think I should be able to do something that sounds reasonable because I listen to music, surely. But
No, it's
really difficult.
It's a dedication and a craft, isn't it? Like the thing about drums, I think more so than anything else is the rhythm, because obviously it's a rhythmic instrument, percussion, whatever, but it's having the different time signatures in your different four limbs.
Yeah.
So you're playing one thing with your right foot, and then it could be a completely different time signature. You could be doing triplets with your right hand and all. And it's like my brain, as soon as I try and do that, I'm like, it's like patting your belly or tapping your head and rubbing your belly at the same time.
Yeah.
That's one thing. But now do it in different time while your feet are like doing something else and each foot's independently doing. It's like you're basically a spider. Like I can't get my head around it.
But it's impressive, isn't it?
It's amazingly impressive.
We saw a few weeks ago. We saw Ocean Colour Scene, and I mean the lead singer when he sort of comes out, looks a bit of a mess, looks unhealthy. He doesn't, you know. Then all of a sudden he'll start singing, and you think, "Fuck, his voice is so good."
Yeah.
You know, but it just when you kind of look at him come out, you just think, I don't know how he makes that noise. I don't get it.
It's dedication.
But yes,
isn't it?
it's like. Yeah, we got Scissor Sisters coming out. Actually, we're going to see them Friday at the O2.
Scissor Sisters.
Yeah.
Who's the singer in Scissor Sisters?
Jake Shears.
Jake Shears.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's a fun gig.
I bet it is.
Live, really good.
It's not something I'd go to, but I bet it's great.
Yeah.
Like,
but again, it's a night out because we go and eat in gauchos at the O2, so we have a nice steak and a few drinks and stuff, and it's good fun, isn't it?
Yeah. Good way to burn off the steam of because you're going through a lot and like getting to the end of a chapter.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the next thing, Paul. Maybe you could become like a musician, spend 10,000 hours playing guitar, sit there.
Yeah. I think I would struggle to do anything that took that long. Did you know what I mean? I can't. It would just take too long I should have started that when I was a kid if I was going to do that. But
Yeah.
I think.
They always say never too late, but it does seem. I calculated it out, right? 10,000 hours. I might have to do it again, just to be sure on this, because they say it's 10,000 hours to perfect anything, right?
Right.
So if you wanna get really good at something, 10,000 hours is like the place to get, right? So if you say you work an 8-hour day, and you do that 5 times a week, it's 40 hours, and you do that probably 49, 48 weeks of the year because you've got holiday and you've got time off. So let's call it 48. So that's 1,920 hours in 1 year of full-time work, 8-hour days. Right. And then, so you divide 10,000 divided by 1,920, 5.2 years of full-time work to perfect something.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's
not. It's like, when do people, you look at it and you're like, yeah, no wonder like aficionados, like amazing, like Steve Vai or like amazing musicians.
Yeah.
No wonder they've been doing it since they were little, because to get to that point.
When did you start?
I started singing when I was, really young, 13, maybe even earlier than that. But I started having serious vocal lessons from about the same age, about 13. And I started going up to London and training with an amazing vocal coach, a lady called Janet Edwards. She's wicked. And she trained my mum, and my mum was a singer. So like I grew up very musical and very creative. And it was because it was that long, it's now got to the point where even if I don't train and practice as much as I should, which like I'm changing at the moment. I'm doing a lot more singing over the last few years than I've been doing before that, for example. More varied singing because I did metal, so I was just training my voice. And that took, to train my voice just for metal, that took a long time. Because when I started doing Hollow Crown, the original bit, my voice would dry out really quickly. I'd lose my voice really quickly because you're having to put the gravel into your voice and you're trying to put the heat in. And I was learning as I was going, much the same. I wasn't training in it, I wasn't watching anything about it. I was trying to figure it out because I knew about my throat and I knew about my voice. And it took about but it took about 3 or 4 years before my voice actually settled into, yeah, you can do that now. And I went...
Well, just for that particular type of way of singing?
Yeah, just for that one way of singing. Because before that, it was all, from young age, it was all like jazz, soft jazz, like lounge stuff, you know. And then it kind of went up and I did like more pop stuff, some musical theatre stuff, and then it was all pop from then. And I didn't really like pop, but I thought I was going to make money out of pop, you know. I was like, well, if anyone's going to make money, it's a pop singer. So I was doing it for the wrong reasons, and that's fine, and recognised that. And then I left that and I started doing like a bit more sort of funk with a bit of a rasp, a bit of an edge to it. And then it was like all of this stuff, none of it was speaking to me. And then it was only when I started doing the metal that I was like, oh yeah, I can get behind this. I feel like it's a way for me to convert my dissatisfaction with certain things, like sociologically, politically, geopolitically. It's a way for me to convert all of these things that I'm a bit pissed off about into a shout. Right?
Yeah.
So that's the only reason I did it, and it was quite nice. Whereas now it's kind of all shifted back again, and it's like I've got that whole new area of my voice which can be explored, and I explore. It really helped with throat singing, actually. So like, you know, that like classic Tibetan, really low, overtony throat singing.
Right.
Like the first time I tried that, I was just like, oh, it's just like singing metal.
Yeah, because I mean, I find sometimes if I've had a day where I've been on the phone all day, my throat's dry. Yeah. And I can feel I've been talking a lot. So I can't imagine. And I know when Kez played me that we're a bunch of that one.
Oh yeah, you can say cunts. It's fine.
I really like that.
Yeah.
It's really catchy, isn't it?
It is.
That's on my gym playlist, you know.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, because it's quite a cool song to train to, isn't it? You know.
Yeah, I
like that.
It's fast, and it's I was just like, that whole reason that was during lockdown we wrote that, right?
Yeah.
And the whole reason that is because the government were there talking about like spending 450 million or 350 million pounds on the app for COVID that never got released, and they ended up having to like get, I think it was Apple or something, to give them some stuff to make it work. Right. And at the time I was running an application development business. Yep. And I'm not even joking here when I say this. If you were to say, can you build me an app? Here's 350 million pounds. I'd say, I don't know how I would even be able to spend it. Yeah. Like how could we begin to even look at spending that? And they just spent. So I was sat there like hearing all these stories, and I'm just like, they are just such a bunch of cunts.
Yeah. So that makes complete sense. Yeah.
Yeah. So it just came out like that. And you know, I think when you look at the political ecosystem, and even like the things that wind me up are the fact that we were born. Fine, great, perfect, love being born, life, amazing. But you're born into a situation and into a system where everything's already got. Like, you know, like, oh, England's already owned, by the way. So actually, if you want to do anything, you've got to do all of this stuff in order, because we demand that. Yeah. And it's like, what the fuck? How did that happen? So I don't consent to that. Yeah. And it's everywhere. It's like, so, yeah, I don't think there's much getting around it. And I'm now more of the opinion that it's like you've got to kind of play the game, work with the game because it exists. And
yeah, unfortunately. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree.
The other one is just pirates, isn't it? It's like pirates and
it's just a way of trying to work with the system, or if you can bend it slightly, isn't it?
Yeah.
Really.
But that viewpoint didn't get me very far. Like the viewpoint of fuck the system, because all it did was just wind me up.
Well, yeah, this is the thing. This is one of the reasons I don't really listen to mainstream sort of news or anything anymore, because there's not much I can do about it. So I'd rather listen to a podcast and listen to something where I might actually learn something. Yeah. As opposed to, I like listening to what's going on with Trump because it's quite entertaining, isn't it?
It's very entertaining.
And it also, I think, whether you agree with him or not, the amount of what he's done in the short space of time that he's been in there already, you know, is a lot. And it just got, often in this country, someone gets voted in and they've been telling us what they're going to do for the last 12 months and then nothing happens.
Yeah.
And it's kind of the same every time, isn't it? And this thing now with Starmer, with his, this open door policy is not working. When did you work that out? Just after Farage got the votes on the by-election then.
Yeah.
Yes.
And also he had that conversation with Trump where Trump was like, if you want to do something good, then you've got to sort this out.
Yeah.
And it's like, man, like, have some of your own scruples. Like, what happened? Like, I would actually be perfectly happy if we had a king who was like, this is what I believe in, and you can either get behind me or not. Because at least you know what you're getting behind. But when you've got someone who's like, folds like stand up for yourself, man. Like, okay, cool. Well, if I can't do all these things, and if people are going to vote me out, then maybe I'll change my policy on it. It's like, like surely, like when has anything good ever happened from people just kind of changing their minds a bit? You know, so just changed my mind actually, because I don't actually believe in the conviction that I had for this. I just kind of said it because I thought that was going to win me votes, and now it didn't. So, but, yeah, we could delve into the realms of politics for a while, but I think
I don't know much about politics. I don't follow it that much.
Right, okay.
I listen to something, a podcast called The President's Daily Brief with a guy called Mike Baker, and it just gives you what's going on in the US, and it's really short, and he's quite dry. Mm-hmm. And I just listen to that when I'm having lunch, and that's kind of the only one that I really listen to now.
Isn't it fascinating though, like how we here in England, like, and I know a lot of people who just love like listening to American politics.
A bit more interesting though. I mean, there's not, apart from Farage, who's got a bit of a personality, I don't really think that anyone else has. It's pretty boring, isn't it? Really.
I think career politicians are probably the most boring people on the planet.
Yeah. So it's not something that I'm just not really that bothered about it.
I just think like if you ever get into like we're here now anyway, so it's like, but if you ever get into a place where the people that you have to elect to lead your community and go and represent you have never actually worked or lived in your community, or they've never actually like had a job, and they've just been like they've come out of university, they've studied politics, and they've gone into a political party, and now they've done like that. To me, that is not who you want to represent you.
No, you know, I mean, I've only ever voted once, which was in the Brexit thing, and voted like out, and we never even got what we voted for there. Yeah. So I kind of think, and I mean, I didn't vote in the last election because you kind of knew what was going to happen anyway. So, and that thing of, but if everyone thought like that, but everyone doesn't think like that. And really, I don't agree with any of them. Really, and I don't like any of them. And you kind of think, well, I'm just not
going to invest in it.
Just not that interested.
Yeah.
Really.
What's it going to do, right? Like by you concentrating on it more, what's going to happen?
I'd rather just listen to something, you know, that was a bit more, you can either learn something from it or you enjoy it, as opposed to, it's all a bit depressing, isn't it, you know?
Yeah.
Or it winds you up.
Yeah. So what kind of podcast do you listen to?
Always listen to Rogan, Tucker Carlson I like as well. There's some fitness ones. Rogan's the main one, I think.
He's got a lot of content. Like, the dedication that man has.
Yeah.
And I know some people think, you know, he's like a bit far-leaning one way or whatever. Like a lot of people called him right-wing for a long period of time. I think that was just like the way that anyone wanted to just describe someone that they kind of felt a bit of a threat to their liberalisation of a system. But he just seems like a nice dude.
Yeah, the thing is, it's just a conversation, isn't it? And the guests are quite varied. And I listened to the one with Tom Segura when I was driving up.
Oh, yeah.
That's really good. It's just funny.
And Tom Segura is another comedian, isn't he?
Yeah. And I don't particularly watch him as a comedian, but I've listened to him on a podcast of Rogan before, and it's always good.
Yeah.
So that was good. Yeah.
And you listen to books as well, right?
Yeah. I mean, I can't even remember what I've done recently, because I was listening to The Real Anthony Fauci, but I can only do little bits of that. There's a few other, but I mean, to be honest, recently it's been more podcasts, because I don't know, sometimes when I go to listen to a book and it's like 20 something hours, I think, it's just too long.
Yeah.
I almost like to listen to something and then go on to another subject.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah, it's just,
But do you find your brain can context switch? So could you put it down and then pick it up later?
Yeah.
Or? Yeah.
I just not for reading. I think where I haven't really where I listen to most stuff and don't read, I now struggle to read. So I'll read a page and then realise after I've read the page I was thinking about something else and I can't remember any of it. And that happens a lot now. And I think I'm just out of the practice of reading.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's the same with writing. I can barely read my own handwriting now, but I don't really write anymore. But you just lose the ability to do it because everything's just done with a keyboard, isn't it, or texting or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, you wonder what's going to happen. I know you don't have kids, but with kids growing up now, like one of the things that recently came to my attention is if your handwriting's not great, they just go, well, you should bring in a keyboard and like a computer to school. And in my mind, I was like, surely like that is the opposite of what you should be doing. You should be dedicating on trying to get your handwriting good because that's a skill. Like you can always learn to type, and yep, you should learn to type as well. But to just remove, the teacher can't read your handwriting. So if you type it on a computer, it's going to be easier for them to do their job. And it's like, surely their job is to teach you to write.
So I can only write in capitals now because I can't do small letters anymore. So it's like, but yes, it's. I guess there's not much need to, but I do want to know, having a bit more time, I think I'm going to make a point of trying to read so many pages of a book a day just to try and
get to
a point where I can actually read better, you know.
Yeah.
But I think, I don't know if it's just so much information coming out that you have almost a lack of attention. Or I know I can listen to a podcast for a long time, but I find, say, if I'm reading the news app, if there's an article, I'll probably read about a quarter of it and then probably make up in my head what I think's happened the rest of it and then just don't read all of it, you know.
Yeah,
so it's more scrolling, read a bit, scroll, and then not really understand what's gone on.
Do you have social media?
I use Facebook personally.
Okay.
Just, you know, it's because I've got friends all over the place. It's easier to keep in touch with people. They know what you're doing. Also with my mum with Alzheimer's, she's got friends in the US and Australia and stuff. So I try and post stuff if we go and see her, so they know what's going on with her. Mm-hmm. And then just a bit of cyberbullying with my friends and stuff, you know.
Yeah.
You know, it's like to wind people up a bit and stuff. But yeah, just that. I don't use anything else. I have to for business, but not. But I don't really enjoy that part of it.
Well, it seems like that probably didn't have much of a hand in, like, because the attention thing you're saying, it's like, you know, like I read a bit and I want to get past it. Like I can see that being a problem if you use social media quite a lot because it's like quite fast content, isn't it? But,
and like with Instagram, I don't really want to look at people's pictures. I'm not that interested. I think Facebook, where it's like you tend to read more of what someone said rather than just look at a picture. Mm-hmm. So that's quite interesting sometimes, to know what your mates are doing and stuff. But apart from that, not really.
So
not interested.
I think I'd like to ask you one last question because I think this is a nice way to round everything off. Everything that you've said, the whole conversation that we've had has been centered around your driving force that has created the discipline not only to maintain your health and keep your body, to investigate the arrhythmia that you've got and try and find solutions around that. All of the different ventures that you've done within your life. What would be, if you were to give a piece of advice to, say, like my son, Mac, what would be the piece of advice that you would give him?
Difficult one. Yeah, I mean, I just think that thing of if you want something bad enough, just to keep trying to do it or get it or whatever. Mm-hmm. And I think that's maybe where I might have gone wrong in some areas, is just not aiming high enough. Mm-hmm. If you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So I think I could have probably aimed higher, and I've not really planned anything out. So I think maybe I should have earlier on had a bit more of a plan of what I was going to do as opposed to just doing it. So even with the Time 4 thing, it was just, I had a meeting with the accountant on the Friday and looked at the figures and thought, it's not really making enough money for the amount of time put in. Had a chat with Kelly Saturday and then decided to sell it.
Yeah.
There wasn't really any more thought in it than that. But that there is a theme of that, and it wasn't the best way of doing it because, there's a big difference between running a company and structuring it to sell it.
Yeah.
Which I didn't do. So I think it's probably, if you can find something that you enjoy and that you want to do, and then just don't give up on that. And it might not, it might take a long time and it might be hard work, but why should it be easy? Really, that's the thing, isn't it?
It is.
And that's the good thing about the training and ice bath and sauna and stuff is that it's actually quite difficult, but I quite like that.
Yeah.
Otherwise, what? And this is one of the things that says as you get older, they say, you just everything becomes too easy. You never get hot, you never get cold, you don't get hungry, you don't lift heavy things, you don't get out of breath. All of those things are good for a little bit of that. Even mental stress, a little bit. It's good.
Yeah.
So yeah, that.
It's good to put yourself in the crucible, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. That.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right, man.
Cool.
Well,
I enjoyed that.
It's been a pleasure to have you here.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, Paul Smith.
Thank you.